So this was a response video I tried to make the other night, wasn't able to. The It was asked to me by T Nightcrawler. So I said, if you got any comments or questions or criticisms you want answered, please message me, and he did. He says, yeah, I didn't really mention it in my comments, but I've already flooded that page with it. What exactly do you mean by atheists are Protestants? Question mark. The way I assume you mean it is that most atheists were formerly Protestants or descendants of former Protestants, and most atheists first reject the Protestant take on Christianity. However, there is still no reason to believe in the in any supernatural forces in any known religion. Are you saying that atheist rejection of religion doesn't work specifically on Orthodox Christianity, or are they misunderstanding Orthodox Christianity makes them Protestant? Uh, yes and no. Let me go. Let me go through all those, each one at a time, and explain what I mean by it. Um, let's see. What exactly do you mean by atheists are Protestants? I assume you mean that formerly. No, atheism, modern atheism, it grew out of Protestantism, because you see, Protestantism is the reduction of everything. It's basically Aristotelianism, which is where we get objectivism from, which is Ayn Rand modeled herself after Aristotle. It's a rejection of anything supernatural. I mean, to say you're an atheist in modern days means a lot more than it says. To say you're an atheist means, and I've run into people who are atheists who don't meet this criteria, who don't believe in ghosts, don't believe in psychic mediums, and usually don't believe in string theory, total objectivism. It's the reductionist of Protestantism, of the the force that modern atheism is born out of is Protestantism, because it's rejection of the former tradition. It is protesting against the church. It is atheism. Uh, and yes, you're absolutely right on the other point too. Uh, the Protestants, the most vocal and rabid atheists against Christianity, come from the most virulent strains of Christianity. So they just, as Christopher Hitchens or Sam Harris like to say, they go one God less. They still have the virulent evangelical browbeating, nagging people. You're stupid. I'm good. Oh, the Mexicans are the dark, unwashed masses who believe in these stupid superstitions, and so are the blacks, kind of thing. But they, instead of Protestantism, just atheism. Uh, and yeah, the atheist, uh, yeah, they usually reject the Protestant form of it because it's clearly the uh, the most ridiculous. There is still no reason to believe in any supernatural forces. Well, that's just not true. Supernatural and belief, I think, are the two words that are really screwing up this sentence right here. Uh, for you, there isn't. There's no reason to believe. But if you had a Paul, you had the Damascus Road experience or something like that, if you had a near-death experience, if you've seen things, if you've experienced things, if you experienced foresight or what's called psychic ability or prophecy, those are reasons. Now, they're not transferable, but they're reasons. That's why I say if you don't believe in religion or God, then don't be a part of one. If you do, then you do. I think it's something built in. I think it's inherent, and you can't pass it on to somebody. Again, God is love, and trying to explain, you can't explain the love of a mother and child. You can't explain the love of a husband and wife. You can't explain the love of a brother with a sister. Uh, they're We all call them love, but trying to describe them to somebody who has never had these affections or interactions or experiences, they can't ever know. It's not known with the intellect. If you've ever read the Cloud of Unknowing, that was written in the 13th century. Uh, are you saying atheist rejection of religion doesn't work specifically on Orthodox Christianity? Absolutely. All the atheist arguments fall apart when they come to orthodoxy because they're arguments built against Augustinian Christianity. So they don't work on. They absolutely do not work on orthodoxy. No original sin. Christ didn't die as a human sacrifice as our sins. We don't believe this. Um, the Bible as this idolatrous, infallible, uh, immutable word of God. No, we don't believe that. Is or is it that their misunderstanding of orthodoxy makes them Protestant? Yes, absolutely that too. Plus, atheism grew up in a Protestant worldview, just as Marxism did, and all these other things. They are the fruits of Protestantism. We wouldn't have atheism if we didn't have the skeptical inquiry of the Reformation, of the uh, sheer iconoclasm. I mean, they're just Calvinists. They're the iconoclasts. They're the ultimate Protestant, and the Protestants have more in common with the atheists than the Protestants have in common with us. Our idea of God isn't. That's why whenever you see me write God, if I'm talking about my God, I write G-D, because it's a God beyond gods. The God that I believe in is not a God. It's not just one God among many, and then the other ones are just fake. Even calling him God, sometimes I'd rather refer to him as heaven or he who is, or the existing one, is a more proper term. That's why we call him that. In fact, in the Old Testament, in the e-text, it says God. They asked for God's name, and he says, "I am that I am." All that you need to know is that I am. Paraphrasing a little bit there, but that's it. Yeah, he is beyond and outside of time, but yet his energies and essence flow into time. So when the atheists say God does not exist, I fully agree with them because existence only takes place in the universe. What's outside of the universe we can't say exists. It's outside of space and time. Yet the essence and energies penetrate the universe. And the atheist arguments against Christianity, when they're trying to argue against the Bible is not a scientific text. There's no science. The Bible was not written as a scientific textbook. Yet it is uh, amazing how mystical it actually lines up with some of the new cutting edge science we find. My arguments for archaeology were between Joshua and kings. Yet somebody brought up Moses, Geo from Nome or whatever, trying to say that, well, the period of Moses, that's a myth. Where do you put the period of Moses? We don't have specific dates in there. It doesn't name the king of Egypt. Uh, I believe it happened 400 years before the Protestants claim the Exodus happened, and we see that the Hebrews were the Hyksos. I know that's getting a little off the topic. Uh, but yeah, I think that's exactly right. All of your questions, I would say yes to, except the statement that there is still no reason to believe in any supernatural forces in any known religion. That's only for you. That's like saying all the pigeons that I can see out my window are white, so therefore all pigeons are white. Or all the crows that I see out my window are black, therefore all crows are black. In Moscow, they have white crows. Some pigeons are gray. Some pigeons are opal. Some pigeons, white pigeons we usually call doves. So yeah, I think you got it down right. The atheist arguments absolutely fall apart and destroy themselves when they try to hit orthodoxy. Because I mean, that's why I would love to see Christopher Hitchens try to debate Vladika, Archbishop of the Tsar. He wouldn't get anywhere. Uh, it doesn't. It destroys itself, and I believe it would do the same thing with gnosis too. Uh, it's experiential. It's not an intellectual debate in an intellectual sense. If you experience God, Just like experiencing love with a woman or love with anybody else, if you were to go to tell somebody who has never experienced love, I know that's pretty much impossible because human beings are love machines, basically. We're built for love. That's our purpose, to love and to be loved. But it's unexplainable. You can't logically explain it to somebody, and even if you could explain it, they still wouldn't know. They'd have to experience. It's experiential. That's what orthodoxy is. I hope I answered your question to a satisfactory end. If you have any more questions, please message me. Thank you very much. This is to T Nightcrawler. Peace to you. Peace to everybody out there. Any known religion. Are you saying that atheist rejection of religion doesn't work specifically on Orthodox Christianity? Or are they misunderstanding Orthodox Christianity? Makes Nightcrawler. So I said, if you got any comments or questions or criticisms you want answered, please message me. And he did. He says, yeah, I didn't really mention. So this was a response video I tried to make the other night, wasn't able to. It was asked to me by Tina in my comments, but I've already flooded that page with it. What exactly do you mean by atheists are Protestants? Question mark. The way I assume you mean it is that most atheists were formerly Protestants or descendants of former Protestants, and most atheists first reject the Protestant take on Christianity. However, there is still no reason to believe in the supernatural, in any supernatural forces in any